Howdy plant peeps, I'm Chandler Waring here today on this gorgeous morning with Emily and Shane from our lovely Stormwater Management and Compliance team. And today we're going to be doing a little bit of lake watch. So Emily, why don't you tell me what that entails for us?
We go kayaking on our two natural lakes here on campus. This one is Lake Claire, and we also have Lake Lee. So we just go out to 3 different points in the lake and we take some water samples to test for suspended solids, and also we freeze some of them so that we can later test for nitrogen and phosphorus, and we'll also take measurements on the depth and clarity of the water.
Fantastic. Sounds like some sciencey stuff going on here. All right, well then let's get right to it then. The Stormwater Management and Compliance team is one of our newest teams here at the Arboretum, and I'm super stoked to be out here with you guys today. Emily, why don't you tell me a little bit about what it is your team does and just about the team in general?
So we help manage and keep up with all of our stormwater infrastructure and systems here on campus to make sure that they're running effectively, as well as we work on compliance to make sure that our campus is not putting out any illicit discharges that would harm our surrounding ecosystems.
So our stormwater really goes unfiltered towards the natural waters of the state, into the little econ and the big econ, and eventually to the ocean. So anything that you see go down the drain goes to the ocean eventually.
Mm-hmm. Illicit discharges sounds like a sick band name.
So after we have collected the samples, we have to filter them in order to determine the suspended solids content in our samples. So first we pour 500 milliliters of each sample into a graduated cylinder, and then we pour that into an Erlenmeyer flask, which has a filter on top of it, and then we create a vacuum, which allows that water to be sucked into the Erlenmeyer flask, leaving behind any of the solids on that filter. And then we take that filter, we put it in a little piece of paper and send it off to the lab where they can analyze the solids content of the lake and what constituents make up those solids. So today, unfortunately, while we were filtering our samples, our vacuum pump broke, so we had to use our mouths instead, but whatever gets the job done.
Well guys, today has been awesome. Thank you so much for having me out here.
Thank you, Chandler.
And this has been a day in the life with the Stormwater Management and Compliance team. As always, I'm your host, Chandler. We'll see you on the next one. I'd imagine something weird's happened here before, whether the levels of nitrogen were off or something like that. What's the craziest thing that's happened out here?
Once upon a time, they were taking samples of the lake, and for several months in a row, the levels of nitrogen were elevated to points above what we normally expect to see. So the stormwater team here at the time did some digging, and how do I put this delicately? They discovered that a man had been defecating into the lake. So we were able to pick up on that through the elevated nitrogen samples. So don't do it. We'll find out.
Listen, kids, don't be pond poopers out there. The stormwater team will find you, and then we'll bring you to justice.